Hello and welcome to the Marist College Television News. I'm Claudia Rufa.
And I'm Anthony Bruno. Thank you for joining us here today for tonight's top stories.
It's currently 9:30 p.m. Monday, September 27th, with a cool breeze rolling across the Poughkeepsie air. Across the nation, COVID-19 cases are starting to dip from their latest peak due to the Delta variant. With new fall weather and continued vaccination rollouts, we can only hope it will keep decreasing as guidelines are followed.
Updated regulation of the Pfizer vaccine brings an additional booster shot to those 65 and older, those who reside in long-term care facilities, and those ages 50 to 64 with underlying medical conditions to be administered 6 months after their primary series. Although it was up for debate whether a booster shot would be beneficial to younger audiences, CDC Director Rochelle P. Walensky extended this guideline to include more people. Currently, it is up to the discretion of the individual, but those 18 to 49 with certain medical conditions and those 18 to 64 at an increased risk of COVID due to employment or place of residence are also permitted for a booster shot.
Starting today, September 27th, all healthcare workers employed in New York State are required to receive their first dose of a vaccine. Healthcare employees at hospitals, nursing homes, and other medical facilities are obligated to complete the request or face the threat of losing their job, first announced by former Governor Cuomo and continued on underneath Governor Hochul's administration. This order is a landmark attempt to halt the spread of the Delta variant in the name of public health. The governor is signing off on an executive order to deploy medically trained National Guard members, along with those with valid credentials, to combat any labor shortages. And now let's hear from Thomas Tricoli with what's new in entertainment.
Hello, MCTV. I'm Thomas Tricoli, here with your bi-weekly entertainment report. Just this past weekend, Citi Field hosted the annual Govball Music Festival, headlined by artists such as Billie Eilish, A$AP Rocky, Post Malone, and most notably the Delta variant. In more music news, Rolling Stone published a list proclaiming the top 500 greatest songs of all time, which has had the internet up in arms about their selections, and has had me wondering how they could forget about Worldwide by Big Time Rush, which was criminally snubbed from the list. Nintendo announced that the final fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will be announced on October 5th. The game was released nearly 3 years ago, and through updates has added 11 characters. The prospect of a new character always gets fans discussing who they'd like to see, but those fans are almost always disappointed come announcement time, just like how my parents will be at the end of the semester. Staying in the world of Nintendo, the long-rumored Super Mario movie had its cast unveiled this past week. Chris Pratt will be taking on the role of Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, and Jack Black as Bowser. Fortunately, Elon Musk will not be reprising his role as Wario this time around. This has been a rather hard week for the billionaire, as he not only lost out on such a prestigious role, but has also separated from the pop star Grimes. The pair were together for 3 years and even had a son, XAE-A12, which rolls right off the tongue. SNL has welcomed 3 new cast members ahead of the season 47 premiere, which will be hosted by Owen Wilson. The entire cast is not known at the time of writing this, but SNL veteran Beck Bennett has confirmed via Instagram that he will not be returning this season, as well as featured player Lauren Holt, who was only added to the cast last season. Beck was one of my favorite cast members over the past few seasons, so he will certainly be missed. The Dear Evan Hansen movie opened in theaters this past Friday to a very underwhelming reception, as it currently sits at a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Who could have guessed that having a 28-year-old man with a 5 o'clock shadow playing a high schooler would feel very out of place? I can't even get that mad though. It certainly isn't the first time a mind-boggling casting choice like this has been made. Just look at any Netflix original. That's all we have for tonight's entertainment report. I'm Thomas Tricoli. Have a good night.
In a shocking move this past week, President Biden struck a deal with Australia and the UK that will supply nuclear submarines to Australia. This move created fury in France, who had a $66 billion submarine deal with Australia in place before Biden announced his deal. With Election Day approaching in just a few months, this move also comes at quite the wrong time for French President Emmanuel Macron. In response to the deal, Macron recalled all of France's ambassadors to the U.S. France wasn't the only country outraged with this deal. China has also expressed frustration about the new agreement, saying it undermines security and will spark a new arms race. With China's rising military influence in the Indo-Pacific region, this deal looked to be strategically targeted towards China. This deal is definitely something to keep an eye on when looking at the U.S. relations between China and Europe. And now we have Derek Daugiallo with the weather.
Hello everyone, I'm Derek DeGallo here with your weather report. Over the last couple of days, it has been in the 80s with sunshine, while later into the night, it's been in the 60s. It has rained a couple of days this week, but luckily, rain is not in the forecast for the rest of the week. This upcoming week, starting today, September 27th, it is scheduled to be in the high 60s, low 70s, with mostly sunshine all week. That is all for the weather report. Enjoy your week. I'm Derek DeGallo, signing off for the weather report.
Capitol Hill is in disarray as the threat of another government shutdown and default of the U.S. debt looms overhead. Lawmakers are forced to enter discussions to pass an appropriations bill by Thursday, September 30th, to prevent an adverse outcome. Senate Democrats recently proposed legislation to fund the government into December and suspend the U.S. debt ceiling into December of next year. But Senate Republicans blocked this measure, stating their disdain against the debt ceiling as they prefer more short-term funding bill.
In world news, German election results are in, with the Social Democrats emerging as the victors, defeating the outgoing Chancellor Angela Merkel and her Christian Democrat Union of Germany party by 1.6 percentage points. Olaf Scholz is the frontrunner of the Social Democrats, putting him in line to possibly be the next chancellor. With this narrow victory, the Social Democrats will need the assistance of minor parties to ensure Mr. Scholz's election success against Merkel's successor in the CDU, Armin Laschet. Next up, we have James Ciensolas with our sports report this evening.
This weekend for football has been very entertaining, with a total of 14 games on Sunday and some records being broken or tied. Let us take a quick dive into them. Starting with the 1 p.m. games, the Chiefs lose yet another game again and fall to 1-2 on the year. Also, the Patriots suffered a tough loss to the Saints, and Mac Jones threw 3 picks. The Saints defense is tough and would be one of the better ones they play this year. The Jaguars managed to tie the longest touchdown in history with a 109 field goal return against the Cardinals. And Justin Tucker of the Baltimore Ravens managed to break the longest field goal record with a 66-yard boot to win against the Lions. At 4 p.m., the Broncos' defense was just too much for the young Jets to get over. Zach Wilson throws yet another 2 interceptions, and the team gets shut out 26-0. The Jets fall to 0-3, and the Broncos are tied for the division with the Raiders at 3-0 after yesterday. The game of the week had to have been the Rams and the Bucs. Both teams were 2-0 coming in at high-power offenses and defenses. But Matthew Stafford was too much for the Bucs defense to handle, throwing 343 yards and 4 touchdowns. Tampa is looking to bounce back against the Patriots next week, and Tom Brady is only 68 passing yards away from breaking Drew Brees' all-time passing record. Finally, the primetime game saw the Packers beat the 49ers in San Francisco. Aaron Rodgers were doing Aaron Rodgers things, and Devontae Adams lit up the 49ers secondary. But it came down to late-game heroics by Rodgers and their kicker, Mason Crosby. With 30 seconds left and no timeouts, Aaron managed to get into field goal range, and Crosby nailed the 50-yarder to move to 2-1 on the season.
Popular social media site TikTok released a statement today saying that 1 billion people use their app every month, from entertainment to news to social media. The app has accumulated a cult following across all generations for its 3-minute-long videos.
Google celebrates its 23rd birthday today, co-founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin in a Stanford dorm as a research project. It eventually grew to become the renowned website known today.
That's all we have for you today, and thank you once again for joining us. I'm Claudia Rufa.
And I'm Anthony Bruno. Thank you, and have a great night.